This is a fun one because right here in Southern California, we're in the height of lobster season. We took the lobsters, boiled them for 4 minutes, and just kind of let them steam in their shell. We then break off the heads, caramelize them in a pan, and just build a pretty basic lobster stock, which we then cook down to a syrup and mount with a little bit of butter, white wine, and some of our sushi vinegar to make a lobster beurre blanc. Put a little foie tureen on top, sear it just so that the duck fat melts into the lobster, and then top it with the lobster beurre blanc. This is a lobster and foie nigiri with lobster beurre blanc. This is how we make Saba. Here we're using Pacific mackerel. We start by breaking the mackerel down into fillets. We then salt the mackerel for 20 to 45 minutes, depending on the size. With it being a local wild fish, you do have a variance and consistency can change, but you just kind of have a formula instead of a recipe. After 20 to 45 minutes in the salt, we then mix a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of sweet cooking sake, tangerine, and ginger to make a brine. This brine is actually better on the second use, so definitely don't throw it away when you're done. We brine it for another 20 to 45 minutes, depending on the size of the fish. From there, we take the mackerel out of the brine. Before service, we cut the ribs off, we pull out the pin bones, and we take off the skin. Then the mackerel can be sliced for nigiri or sashimi, broiled, and do just about anything with it.
In today's world, it's very easy to go and seek out whatever fish you want anywhere in the world. But a true challenge for a chef comes when you have to use what's available from the local waters. This allows us to become a more progressive and creative kitchen. We have to use what's available on that day to make sure that each dish shines. We have a very tight-knit relationship with all the fishermen local to San Diego. This morning when I picked up the sheephead from Dan Major right off his boat, the fish was live. He taught me how to properly bleed out the fish so that it could be the freshest and uncompromised as possible in the most humane way as possible. Having this close relationship with the fishermen makes me really want to keep on doing this for the rest of my life and keep pushing and striving to make sure that every seafood plate that comes out of our kitchen represents what San Diego has to offer. This is local piloncillo cured sheephead from Dan Major with a peach and habanero aguachile, peaches, nasturtium leaves, finger limes, avocado mousse, and a dash of chili oil.
So here at Land and Water in San Diego in particular, there's a very big push for what we're calling the no waste movement. We're focusing on all aspects of our food service industry, really trying to eliminate waste and utilize every piece of any protein or vegetable or anything that we can. We've been focusing on receiving our fish whole and utilizing the whole creature, something that has been thrown away for years by tons of fishmongers all over the States, is what we call the ngawa in Japanese. This piece of the fish runs along where the fins are connected to the body of this halibut. Most of the time, fishmongers are going to be taking the fillets off, swiping off the quarters, and discarding the rest of the fish. But here, we love to save the ngawa and save the belly fin for sometimes our very best customers. And this is going to be a very savory, slightly toothy piece of halibut. That's a whole new experience when you eat it, and also adds to our mission of not wasting any of the fish. You can take this same piece of belly fin, you can score it and serve it as sushi, you can cut it and make it into sashimi. So when you're buying a fish whole, now there's another part of the fish that you can capitalize on that will allow you to help make a profit as a fishmonger or as a restaurateur. One of the most beautiful ways to show off this ngawa is to make it into nigiri sushi. It's very simply made over the seasoned rice, a little wasabi, a little bit of flake salt, and then just lightly searing with a little torch. Just brings a little bit of the oils from the flesh to the surface and gives it a little bit of a finishing touch and helps finish off this once-in-a-lifetime type of experience you're going to provide for your guests that's showing off something that we love.
Hi guys, this is Chef JJ at Lumi Restaurant. I'm gonna use this Vitamix XL to make the beet cure for salmon. We don't want to waste any of our scraps, so we use our beef skins to turn it into a cure. So I'm going to add the beef skins 50-50, which is sugar and salt, and water to make it to a puree. Once the puree is done, we drop the salmon fillet in there and cure for 24 hours. Once the curing is done at 24 hours, we pull the fillet out and wrap it very tight and put it in the freezer so the cure can penetrate throughout the whole fillet. So now we're gonna pair the salmon with the sauce called jalapeno huacatai sauce. I start with huacatai with a black mint from Peru, jalapeno, tofu, ají amarillo paste, cilantro stems, oil, and malt vinegar. To finish up the plating, we do the red quinoa, beef jerky, jalapeno huacatai sauce, salmon, and New Zealand spinach.